Welcome to our channel. Today we bring you the list of top 10 most dangerous airports in the world. While flying is one of the safest ways of travel, many passengers, including myself, suffer from a fear of flying. This fear of flight is known as aviophobia or aerophobia. That said, some approaches to airports are much more complicated than others and can turn into a frightening experience that makes their armrests squeeze the bravest frequent flyers. Surprisingly, there are dangerous airports in the world, ranging from mountain ranges and oceans to less than half a mile of runways, where landings and takeoffs require incredible precision and immense pilot skills. Today we're going to see the 10 most dangerous airports in the world. These airports are considered to be dangerous due to tricky runways and special landing techniques. The top 10 most dangerous airports are... Before we continue, press the subscribe button and bell icon for new updates. Number 10 is Wellington International Airport, New Zealand. I love to stare at the sea's clear and never-ending waters from the airplane's sky-piercing heights. The Wellington International Airport runway makes it possible for you to do just that. The start and end of this runway are straight into the sea from the beginning of the descent. Wellington International Airport, which serves the capital of New Zealand, is the country's third busiest airport after Auckland and Christchurch. It features a single runway of 2,081 meters, 6,827 feet, which seems to start and end in the ocean. Because of the Cook Straits channeling effect, the airport has a reputation for often rough and turbulent landings, even in larger aircraft, producing strong and raging winds, especially in the northwestern conditions. This makes landing maneuvering particularly challenging for pilots and can often transform flying into a hair-raising activity for passengers. At number 9, Gibraltar International Airport, British Overseas Territory. As kids, we all glanced into the car window through a car door to look at an airplane soaring through the air. You can't just watch it go by in Gibraltar, but fear whether the airplane would fly to you. The start of the runway intersects with a functioning road that needs to be stopped during the flight. In addition to that terrifying phenomenon, at both ends of the runway abruptly ends at sea. The Gibraltar Airport runway crosses the main road in and out of the British Overseas Territory, and as a result, traffic must be closed if an airport lands or departs. The resulting traffic jams have resulted in a tunnel under the runway being constructed, but the project has been plagued by delays and is not yet complete. However, the highway crossing is not the pilot's main problem. It is the heavy turbulence and wind shear around the Rock of Gibraltar and across the Bay of Algeciras that makes landings problematic, especially uncomfortable affair here. It is normal to have diversions and go-arounds, particularly in winter. At number 8, Princess Juliana Airport, St. Martin. Due to one end of its single 7,546 feet, 2,300 meter long runway being too close to the sea, the infamous Princess Juliana Airport on the Caribbean island of St. Martin is famous throughout the world for its low landings over the ocean. Maho Beach's proximity to the runway has made the airport one of the most preferred places in the world for a perfect Instagram image, as the landing jets seem to be just feet above the public's heads just before touchdown. At the same time, takeoff produces enormous gusts for sunbathers of wind and sand. However, it's not without danger. A New Zealand woman died in 2017 from wounds suffered by a jet blast from a departing aircraft. At number 7, we have Narsarsuaq Airport, Greenland. Narsarsuaq Airport, one of the 2 airports in Greenland capable of surging large airliners, is located in Tunjarvik Fjord on the world's southern tip. The airport was established by the Ministry of Defense of the USA in 1941. In a mountainous environment, pilots must contend with high winds, the extreme turbulence, and wind shear, even on the calmest of days of the year, before seeing the relatively short 6,000-foot, 1,823-meter runway. Although a big challenge for pilots is the high wind in the fjords, a nearby volcano could be even more difficult. When it erupts, there are very high tiny fragments of glass, silica, melting ice in the volcanic ash cloud that can destroy aircraft engines. At number 6 is Tecnoctán Airport, Honduras. For a long time, the Tecnoctán Airport approach, located near the capital of Honduras, has been considered one of the most dangerous airports in the world, especially in poor weather conditions. The small airport's rugged terrain forces pilots to make a dramatic approach with a steep descent and a fast turn before lining up with the runway, which is anything but head-on. Often, it is one of the deadliest airports in the world. A Boeing commercial aircraft crashed into a mountainside on approach in 1989, killing 132 individuals. Since then, at least 5 more aircraft have followed suit and have crashed in or near the airport. Due to this mishap, a new airport is currently being constructed in Comayagua to replace Tocantins International Airport. At number 5 is Madeira International Airport, Portugal. Madeira International Airport, commonly known as Cristiano Ronaldo Airport and formerly known as Funchal Airport, is located on Madeira's Portuguese archipelago in the Atlantic Ocean. Due to its impressive architecture, Madeira International Airport is considered one of the world's most dangerous airports. The initial runway was just 1,600 meters and was to be 5,249 feet long, but later expanded to 2,781 meters, which after a fatal plane crash in 1977 was around 9,124 feet. 164 people died when a Boeing 727 fell off the end of the runway onto the beach below. The runway extension is supported by 180 columns, partially over the ocean, that must withstand extreme shock loads during landings, owing to powerful winds, high mountains on one side, and the ocean on the other. The airport is risky as well. To land at the airport, pilots must undergo additional training. Number 4 is Tenzing Hillary Airport, Nepal. Tenzing Hillary Airport, also known as Lukla Airport in Nepal, is the prime airport for anyone visiting Mount Everest. The runway is surrounded by steep Himalayan terrain, with a mountain shelf on one side and a steep drop into the valley below on the other side. The airport runway is extremely short at 527 meters, 1,729 feet long, although it also slopes uphill with a gradient of almost 12%, which helps planes slow down in time. To make matters worse, there is no ground procedure because of the surrounding mountains. Given these factors, only helicopters and small fixed-wing propeller planes are permitted to land. Since 1973, there have been several accidents at the airport that resulted in many deaths and injuries. There have been many incidents at the airport since 1973, resulting in several fatalities and injuries. Number 3 on our list is Lukla Airport, Nepal. The recent traffic on Mount Everest has brought a little infamy to tourism in the Himalayas. This has not stopped people from the trek to Everest yet. Lukla Airport could be the one you need to encounter if you ever plan to fly there, and you better be ready for it. With a scary short runway of just 527 meters, even if the weather conditions are safe, it is quite a risk to embark on. As the runway has a cliff on one side and a stone wall, the risk factor is rising. The frequently interrupted air traffic controller link also causes the pilots to land without assistance. Combine it with no lights, and you've got the perfect scenario for horror. And number 2 on our list is Wancho y Irasquin Airport, Sabah Island. One of the world's scariest and dangerous airports is Wancho y Irasquin Airport, otherwise known as Sabah Airport. Wancho y Irasquin Airport is situated on the tiny Dutch Caribbean island of Sabah, also known as the original movie island of King Kong, approximately 45 kilometers, 28 miles south of St. Martin. This makes it the world's shortest commercial airport runway, with a pitiful runway of just 400 meters, 1,300 feet in total length. The airport is wedged at the foot of a mountain on a rugged outcrop, with jagged terrain on one side and cliffs crashing into the sea at the other end of the runway, so it's a nerve-wracking struggle to land here. Although the airport is close to jet traffic, under waivers from the Netherlands Antilles Civil Aviation Authority, regional airline propeller aircraft can land there. At the number 1 crown position is Paro International Airport, Bhutan. Bhutan's only international airport at Paro. Nestled in a deep valley, sharp peaks surround the tiny airport up to 5,500 meters, 18,000 feet tall, often resulting in extreme turbulence. Powerful winds whip through the valley. It is considered to be the most dangerous airport globally. Flights are permitted only during the daytime and under visual meteorological conditions, under which pilots, rather than depending on aircraft instruments, make their decisions by eye. For the pilots, until the last minute, the dramatic approach to the runway is totally out of reach, as they navigate between mountains at a 45-degree angle before falling rapidly onto the runway. There is a restriction to the number of pilots that are allowed to land at Paro. As things stand, only a limited number of pilots are authorized to land at Paro. Thanks for watching the video. Comment down below about which airport you found the most dangerous.